Hello everyone. I was having a think about the women I've come across, mostly online. Am I? Yeah, I think I haven't actually met one of these out in the real world, but I've seen them about. And these are the feminine women, some even hyper feminine, who wish people to use he, him pronouns when talking about them. These women seem to be comfortable with every aspect of femininity, the looks, the mannerisms, even the role within a straight relationship. The only thing that is in any way gender non-conforming is that they insist that they are men and want others to use he, him pronouns for them, which to them means that they are extremely gender non-conforming gay men. So hip, cool, and groovy. It's interesting to me that they want us to use he, him, and not they pronouns as well, because I've met quite a lot of very feminine women who wish to be called they, them. So it got me thinking, what exactly are they identifying into? If you are essentially enacting every aspect of conformity to feminine stereotypes and the gender of woman, what are you actually identifying as? And I think that what these women are identifying into or attempting to identify into is the societal positioning of man. So, you know that they don't actually give a shit about the impracticality of femininity or solidarity between women. All they actually care about is feeling like they have some kind of power and believing that they are being respected. They want the neutrality offered by manhood while not having to reflect on or think about their adherence to the female gender role. Clearly, this will never actually work, even less so than being a trans man who aims to pass, because everyone just sees you as a conforming woman and unfortunately they treat you accordingly. This has led to a couple of questions for me. Do these women genuinely enjoy femininity, or are they just not bothering to introspect? And does this mean that they want the hierarchy to remain as it is, they just want to be on top? Or would they actively want the hierarchy to go away if it was easy peasy? Or do they even want power over other women, and specifically the power to subjugate via sexual threat? I think is what I've just been saying about there being a lack of imagination to imagine a world without these gender roles and without the hierarchy that is so embedded into every fucking culture on Earth forever. There's kind of a lack of backbone in confronting the uncomfortability of deprogramming our societal conditioning. I also think I've got the question of, like, I know I said that they're just comfortable with femininity, but maybe they aren't and they just genuinely don't know how to not do that. Um, Obviously, this isn't really a conversation I can broach with them, but I'm interested. And I'm just also very confused by it because, look, transmedicalism I also think is a bad idea and I think it's silly, but at the very least, there is two dots that you can draw a line between and it kind of makes sense. As an aside, I draw a slight distinction between feminine and hyperfeminine. Obviously, it's on a continuum, but for me, it's about the effort and the impracticality of what someone is doing. For instance, wearing a dress and having long hair, which is something I do fairly often because my hair is long because I can't be bothered to cut it. I don't really style it beyond brushing it and putting it in a ponytail. The dresses I wear are comfortable, easy to maneuver in, and I wear trousers if I know that's more sensible for what I'm doing that day. Basically, it's feminine because that trait has been put into the feminine box, but I'm not actually putting in lots of effort and I'm not feeling any discomfort. Whereas hyperfemininity, to me, involves extreme amounts of makeup intended to look radically different than you actually do, and like not in a fun way, just to look like Kim Kardashian. It involves wearing tight and restrictive clothing, high heels that are uncomfortable, everything up to and potentially including life threatening surgery. I'm just chucking this in here as I think it's interesting that when we think about breaking down gender roles, we understandably focus on women moving towards a more neutral or even more masculine space. But I think that if gender roles were broken down a lot more, we would see men who were comfortable in skirts, who had long hair, and wore clothes that had, fun but unobtrusive embellishments. So things that are feminine but aren't serious subjugation. I know it's a lot more complicated than that, and aspects of feminine clothing being decorative is about us being decorative objects. But at the same time, I think that if we were all wearing, regardless of sex, just some fun clothes, it doesn't actually have to mean that anything we're wearing is impractical and uncomfortable. Let's have more fun. I know this is a detour, but listen, like I say, I don't think liberation is being like men, and I think it's through finding a new path. And I think that in my perfect utopian society, we're all wearing comfortable but floral printed clothes. I've lost my point. I'm just saying that the masculine option, like what is masculine in our society, isn't always the best option, even when it comes to frivolous things. And yes, I've just thrown that in there. I've lost my thread. Love you. Bye.